Today we're going to cover two different kinds of crappie fishing. We're going to cover spider rigging and we're going to do one poling. These are two favorite types of crappie fishing that we do on the crappie circuit. And they're very effective, and today we want to share them with you and share how they're accomplished, what baits we use, how we rig for them, and hopefully show you some big crappie today. When it comes to spider rigging, we want to show you exactly how the pros and how you could actually fish with a spider rig. A spider rig is nothing more than a tight line. Some people call it tight line, and some people call it pushing. Some people call it pulling, if you're pulling out of the back end of the boat. Today we're going to push, and it's called spider rigging out of the front of the boat, and we use 14-foot, 16-foot poles, usually 8 of them. If you're alone, we usually use 4 for control purposes. Out of that, we will then use, with this rig, a leader. And a leader is nothing more than a couple of baits that we display in front of the fish. To make it easy on us as fishermen, what we will do is we will tie a little snap onto the main line, and off of that snap we will put a 3-way. And that 3-way is made up of a drop line of about 6 to 8 inches with a true turn hook. And then we put a weight, usually half or 3/4 ounce. And then at the bottom of it, we'll put a jig of some sort. Today I've got a Roadrunner on this one. On a few other poles I'll be using today, I've got jig heads, crappie heads, different kinds of baits that we'll display today. Onto the jig head, we'll either put either a plastic bait. Today I've got a Gary Yamamoto little swimming, looks like a little bitty shad. This is one of my favorite colors. We use them on the circuit, this color right here. We'll put it on the jig head, and in this case it's a Roadrunner, and it's a Pro Series 2 Roadrunner head. And we'll put that bait just like that onto the head, slide it on up, put it over the collar, and it'll look just like that. So you've got your blade and you got the bait. Now many of the pros, depending on the time of the year, will also lace a minnow onto this, and I'm going to show you in a little bit. I'll put minnows on both these rigs. And when we push it through the water out of the front of the boat, this bait at the top will come out and swim out. So it's going to look like a school of shad coming by the crappie. When that happens, we'll either get bit or we won't, of course. But what it's going to look like is that school of shad's coming in on those crappie or bass or whatever that may hit it. But in our case, hopefully crappie. And what we will do is we'll pull them through there and they'll hit this bait. And they'll either pull the rod down or they'll tip it. There'll just be a tap on the line. It depends on what kind of mood they're in. Now this is a different rig. This particular rig is that P&S jig I was telling you about earlier. This is a bait that we use a lot on the tour. It's a bait we had custom made for us, and they are now for sale. And what we will do is we will do the same thing we did with the other baits. We will go ahead and put a minnow on the top. And we're not going to put any plastic on here. We're only going to fish this bait with this body that's on it, that Mylar. And we're going to fish it tipped with a minnow on both of these, and we're going to fish it the same way we're fishing the one I just put out a few minutes ago. That right there will give them, you can see how lively they are on that thing. Again, we're ready. We're going to put the 16-foot Ozark rod in, and we're going to put it down, and we're down about 12, 13 feet, and we put it in the rod holder. And what's really important, if you'll take a look at where the rods are in relation to the water, you don't want the rod any higher than this rod that you see on the left-hand side. You want it as low as you can possibly get it. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. Ain't huge, but that's a black crappie too. And he's on the minnow rig. He hit the minnow rig on the bottom. That's a nice black there. That's a pound black there.